Fire for your mind. The culture clinician. Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
Isabel Mariana. I notice, she's on Instagram, I notice that many men look for relationships with women overseas where masculinity is still valued, as I'm sure also a green card might be, but anyway, rather than date people in the United States. Have you seen this?
Mm-hmm. They have a name for it. I forget what it is, but it's like passport bros, they call them. So these passport bros they want to find, go overseas and find a woman because they say they're more feminine. That doesn't always work out so well. Some of the men, they go over, they get the women come back here and they can still have the same issues. But I do think it goes to the issue of respect. I think American men do not feel respected. That is the one thing in my book that I found out and that I'm talking to men about now. The biggest thing they talk about is respect, that they do not feel respected by American women. And I think they're, even in their mind, whether true or not, they feel that these women overseas do respect them, and feel that, I think it's important for men to show that, that they are masculine. And I think that they want somebody who isn't going to think that that's toxic. So.
Why do you think young men are lost without many role models and turn to extremes like Andrew Tate? Are you familiar with Andrew Tate? Okay, and then just, talk a little bit about the pickup artist type, fads out there and why they're so popular.
Well, I mean, she sort of hit on it. The men don't have any role models. Nobody teaches them anything anymore, and they're basically lost. In fact, I think, I saw recently that boys are actually turning to Chat GP to sort of find out about dating because they really don't understand. So if they have no role model, nobody to really talk to them about how to date or do anything. I don't think Andrew Tate's a great example, but I have to turn to someone like Jordan Peterson, who obviously is a psychologist. He understands the psychology of boys and men and what they need and want. And I think that those ideas are not bad things. I also think women underestimate how hard it is. Here's an example. The majority of women, say you go to a dating app, the majority of women find most men undateable. In the past, young men might have been able to find somebody. Most women wanted a husband. Nowadays, women don't need a husband, right? They can, which is good. They can make their own money. They don't need that. But at the same time,
baby daddy, boyfriends, husbands, cousins, brothers, uncles, and daddies was all in Cartagena this weekend. I traveled to Cartagena to meet one of my friends who was traveling from Ecuador just for the weekend. It was my first time in Cartagena, and my God in heaven, y'all did not lie about the passport, bro. Baby, I got off the plane. I didn't know where I was at. It was black men as far as the eye could see. I took a little video while I was in the immigration line. They was grouped up and duped up. You hear me? The line was at least 2 hours long to get through immigration. I promise you, and I'm not lying, right hand to God, they probably had 5 women in this immigration line. Everybody else was black men. And I said, oh, there's a story here. I mean, they was coming in groups. The group that was in front of me was a group of 10, bitch. A group of 10 that had came from Philly. How I knew they was from Philly? Because I could hear their accent. I could hear them talking. I was looking at them in line, downloading Tinder. I said, them people did not fucking lie. Now, this is my first time in Cartagena. I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, I've been to Colombia before. I've been to Cali.
Therapists explain in less than 4 minutes why modern women black struggle with taking accountability, and more than average lack the emotional intelligence or the maturity to make the proper choices in dating and other relationships. And due to the lack of safeguards in place, many men that are traditional and masculine are exercising their options by being silent and checking out.
I began to really think deeply about this idea, and one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. And
no one can hold Black women accountable. Black women, unfortunately, we have adopted this mentality that I can do whatever I want to do and can't nobody tell me anything. And this is why we are where we're at. We live in a very selfish, egotistical society now that nobody cares. If you're a Black woman and to hold Black women accountable, you have to be ready to fight, because it's going to come with a lot. I'm always thinking about how young girls are being influenced. So what us grown women are doing is influencing these girls to do these out of control, I don't care attitudes. They have the most disgusting attitudes, and you can't even check them because they have their moms who say I could do whatever I want. So can't no one hold us accountable. Not a Black man. Your white boss probably the only one who can tell us what to do because he pay us. A gay man can tell us what to do. There's a Black woman or a Black.
The only reason why the women are able to get away with this is because of men. The only reason why OnlyFans girls make so much money is because they have customers.
That is
so.
That is very
if we're
true.
going to talk about the women and how they are dressing and presenting themselves, we have to understand and talk to the men about their desire for that. Their look was based upon what catches y'all's eye.
Yep.
If they had on a burlap sack and a turtleneck, they would all be wearing that.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has a freaking part to play. They're doing it for y'all attention because y'all give it to them. It's like men will go into the strip club knowing that these women are there to take their money, but because you need to feel validated, you need to feel wanted and desired, y'all knowingly go in there, knowingly with a pocket full of money that you should be paying your rent with, but because I need this feeling and I need to feel this, I'll go here every week. So the same way women need to, as you say, this whole prostitution culture, there's no prostitution culture without customers. So what are y'all gonna do? And how are y'all gonna change y'all appetite? Your palate has to change. So the women are only doing this to get you attention. And I believe that's why BBL culture is so prevalent, especially in the Black community, because Black men glorify what? Big butts. So if you don't have that and you're not confident in who you are and you know what you are as a woman, what you have to offer, but you see all these men going crazy over tail, it causes you to feel less than. What are you going to go do? So yes, women have a part to play, but women are playing to come from men.
The lives of women will not change until the men get the opportunity to also examine and define and change their lives. In many ways, I sometimes think that the 20th century was the century where the women made all these massive changes, and the 21st century will be the changes that the men will make, partly in adapting to the changes that the women have done.
And those men are doing something about it. They're saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not getting married, or I'm divorced. They don't sit around just trying to live their life through women. They actually have lots of hobbies. They go out, they buy that land you were talking about. They're getting motorcycles. They're having a good time and they're enjoying life without having to deal with the stress of the women and the society that tells them they have to have a woman in their life.
How would you feel? I mean, you're not going to feel that attracted to a woman or care to be loving towards her or romantic towards her. So this men going their own way is a reaction to that. I really think it's a rational reaction to that. Men are finally like, hey, we've given you all you want. You are equal in every way.
Hit that like button. Go ahead. Do it now before I reach out into that screen and twist your hand like Aunt Esther. Hit the like button. Thank you.
Destroy.
fire for your mind. Culture clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads pick it back up and young dope them. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
If you brothers can hear me, hit 1. If you sisters can hear me, hit 1. We're gonna have a good show, guys, on today. Guys, you know, it's been a rough week, guys. It's been a rough week. The culture clinician almost went to the upper room, but I'm grateful to God that I'm alive. I had a head-on collision, guys. Had a head-on collision. But thank God for a praying wife, man, because the culture clinician would have been dead and gone, man. Head-on collision. But anyway, we ain't gonna bemoan that point. I'm grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful to those that are watching. And guys, do me a favor, share this stream. I need y'all to share this stream with at least 5 or 10 people. Share with 5 or 10 like-minded men and women, guys, because there is a crisis in masculinity. I know it, and you men know it. And let me be real clear, guys, when I do these shows. I do these shows because I could use and do shows based on solely clinical concepts, solely based on treatment models. But you got to understand that I'm an artist, and I'm an artist that use clinical concepts to understand urban topics. And just like the master teacher used parables to convey the mysteries of the kingdom, I borrowed that model from the teacher Jesus. Now, I said all that to say this. My channel is not a Christian channel, but it does employ Christian virtues. I use the Bible as an antidote from time to time to give a correlation to the issues that we have here in America. And so this is going to be a good show, guys. And I need y'all to support it because it took a lot of editing. And thank you, No News Podcast. Yes, I do all the editing by myself, being a licensed therapist. I do all the editing, and it's a lot of work, man. It's draining. But if you guys like what I'm doing, please share this stream. Donate to the channel. If you don't have any money, share the stream with like-minded people. Because I'm here to bring a message to the people. The world don't like for men to be happy. Many times in modern America, the happiness of men is often subdued, and unless it's approved by the gynocratic order, then it's a problem. Teddy Pendergrass once said, all I need is peace of mind. And Teddy said, it's hard to find. And the passport pros, or the passport movement, has become the antidote for men traveling and doing what's best for them. Give me a minute, guys. This thing sounds a little muffled. Give me 1 minute. Sounds a little muffled. Let me turn this fan off, guys. Hold on. Hold on, guys. But once again, guys, it's always a pleasure to watch. It's always a pleasure to listen to all the brothers. And shout out to my man, the International Quiet Storm. I love that brother. He's one of the kindest gentlemen that I know. I got nothing but respect for that brother. He's always been a stalwart in these spaces. And he's always supported male content. And so I'm forever grateful for the International Quiet Storm. The Quiet Storm coach almost went to the upper room. Man, Coach got in a serious accident, man. That could have taken my life. But all for the grace of God, I'm alive. But the Quiet Storm said, I just recommend a brother to a non-diagnostic consultation with you, brother. Keep an eye on the email the next couple of days. This brother's been through a lot, reached out to me. If you knew a good man, I appreciate it, man. Yes, sir. Thank you for non-diagnostic consultation. Thank you. And the International Quiet Storm, he is the #1 sponsor of the stream. He is the #1 sponsor of this stream. I appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. And we're going to get deep into it. But men are checking out. Men are beginning to appraise what their worth is. Yeah, I appreciate it, Ray Johnson, man. I'm grateful. I got out of it too, man. This woman pulled out in front of me. And she was negligent because it was her fault. But I'm grateful that I'm alive, man. Because I could have been dead. The doctor said it was a crazy hit. Very, very crazy hit. But it could have been dead. It wouldn't have been no more kosher. It wouldn't have been no more kosher. Kosher would have went to the upper room, hopefully. But once again, I'm glad I'm alive. And thank you, Brother Ray Johnson, for being a supporter of the channel for so long. But let's get into it, guys. Thank you for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it, dear. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. But let's get into it, guys, because there's a fly in the ointment, and it all goes back to this sassy black man calls out the passport bros. Sassy black man calls out the passport bros. And you know, I find it weird, guys, that a man, well, actually, I don't find it weird, but I find it weird that a man that like men is worrying about what other men are doing with their phalluses. I find that weird, because why would you worry about what men are doing with their phalluses and they're heterosexual black men? But we live in a world, guys, where men can't have a voice. Men aren't allowed to express themselves. Men aren't allowed to have options unless it's under ridicule. Modern women have become so wicked that many project our ignorance, many project our paranoid persecution, many have what's called schema afflictions, core beliefs that are based on unsubstantiated evidence, and many times those schema afflictions is based on pain and fear, and that pain and fear turns to what's called paranoid persecution. And so it's a problem, guys. And it's a problem for many reasons. It's a problem for many reasons, because the world don't like it when men have a voice. They don't like to see men happy. They don't like to see men lift up their voices in unison and decry what their worth is. You know, so many say, my body, my choice, but men are beginning to say, my passport, my choice. Because as I've told you guys before in the past, needs drive behaviors. And you got a lot of caricatures, guys, because this sassy black man that called out the passport bros is projecting because they want to control what men do with their power and what men do with their money. And they call you all kinds of names. They say that, you know, they say that you are messing with children, messing with children, and we're predators, and black men are tricking. But we know, guys, that the real tricks are here in America. The real tricks are here in America because they're dealing with their culture. They're dealing with the culture with the prostitute. And that's what Sassy Santana is, guys. Sassy Santana is upset because the men's, hold tight, the men's have executed what their rights are, and so they have to use shaming language, and they have to use scary language to shame black men into silence, which is a problem. And so a plantation bro also is dealing with a schema, because a plantation bro would rather stay on the plantation than understand that he has power. And so many of these plantation bros, guys, have been on the plantation. Many of them have not traveled outside, maybe a 200-mile radius of where they're from. And so they say, still local since birth, limited edition, never left the country. I don't need no passport. Black women in America need our love right here. They got rich dad, poor deli. That's funny. They got a PlayStation controller. I can't see what this other stuff is. They got a cell phone, and they got an excuses expansion pack. Travel is a colonial mindset. They got beaches here. I support my sisters. That's why I stay here. Why I gotta go Colombia. Well, we got our sisters here. They got the passport expansion pack, and people don't like for men to have power. They don't like it because Frederick Douglass said that power never conceded to anything without a struggle. It never have, and it never will. And so they don't like it when men have power. They don't like it because it makes their ego feel small, because they are narcissists. They many times have either narcissistic traits or they are undiagnosed narcissists. And that's why some men have so much anger towards the passport bros. And it's weird, guys, because this big old sassy guy is worrying about what men are doing with their penis. You know, they worrying about what men are doing with their penis. This old big old sassy dude. And it's crazy. So let's go look at this big old sassy dude, guys, because he's a passport queen. he ain't a passport bro, he's a passport queen. And he's worried about what men are doing with their peens, man. He's worried about what black men are doing with their peens, not understanding that needs drive behavior. So let's listen to Dr. Helen Smith. But men are traveling abroad because they want some of that raw femininity. They want that raw femininity. Hold tight, guys. Now, can you guys imagine traveling abroad, you single men that don't have wives, and you see a fine man go with all that raw femininity? And see, y'all don't hear the little snares because even the white woman sort of try to throw off saying that, you know, they want a green card. They have this animosity towards men because when men give their attention to other women, that means they're not getting their attention. You see, attention is an addiction for a woman because it's a dopamine hit. And so when men travel abroad, they're taking the attention away from a woman. She don't have that dopamine hit that affirms her gynocratic mindset. So instead of dealing with women here in America, women want beautiful Colombian mangoes. men want beautiful Colombian mangoes. Mangoes that are feminine and mangoes that respect their men. And so they get angry because the joy that black men are experiencing is not coming through them. See, a lot of American women want men's happiness to come through them, but they don't want to come outside of them. And that's brothers over here enjoying themselves. We know they're passport puppets. We're going to talk about them in a minute, but they don't like it. Watch this. And so, you know, the matriarchy don't want black men to experience any power outside of her approval. And you got the big Shirley Deluxe. You know, we call this egocentric. And that's what's called cognitive distortions. That's egocentric. And that's called cognitive distortions because they are deaf. You can't tell them the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. And they think by default, because of their delusions, that what they expect that they deserve is actually real because they have a condition called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue do ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. And conditions such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this. And guys, it's like beating your head against the wall dealing with the big Shirley delusion, deluxe addiction. because they're deaf. You know, it was a time when you had big blocks like, and shout out to my man Ray Johnson in the house. That's my homie. Ray, I got to call you on the back end, guys. We got a cash app alert. We got a cash app alert, guys. We got a cash app alert. Got to call you on the back end. We got a cash app alert. And shout out to my man Ray Johnson, my brothers I love and respect. And he is the #1 sponsor of this stream with the $30 cash app. Shout out to the big homie Ray Johnson. Much love and blessing to that brother. Nothing but love from that brother. Shout out to brother Ray Johnson.
It's the money.
Shout out to brother Ray Johnson. But the Big Shirley Deluxe Edition, guys, is problematic because Big Shirley is delusional. Big Shirley has a condition called ego-syntonic. See, when an ego is syntonic, it actually thinks that what it's feeling is right. People that go through ego dystonia, they don't like how they feel. But see, the American woman is ego-syntonic. She thinks that her delusions are justified. And many times you see that, and it's tied into what's called paranoid personality disorder or delusional personality disorder. And the Big Shirley Deluxe Edition, many times overweight. She looked at that broad statue, guys, in New York. She got what's called Queen Kong consciousness. I'm gonna do a show called Queen Kong Consciousness. She got Queen Kong consciousness. She said, I deserve it all. And that's all you can do, guys, is laugh at these delusional women, guys. That's all you can do is laugh at them. That's all you can do is laugh at them, guys. You can only do is laugh at them because they're mentally ill. I deserve it all. Not that I should earn it all, but I deserve it all. He got to be a 6-figure man like the Quiet Storm and the Kosher Clinician. He got to be at least 6 feet tall. He got to have income. He got to have a car, a house, and all. And normally heifers like this eat Uber Eats. She got five kids, 3 baby daddies, and 1 dream of high-value men. And she's never wrong, never quiet, and never splitting the bill. And she's coming to a theater near you. She's coming to a theater near you. And that's mental illness, guys. That is mental illness. Because, see, you know, shout out to all the mothers because the Mother's Day is on tomorrow. Shout out to my mom and all the real mothers. Because it's hard to find real mothers in this culture that practice realness, not fake, but practice realness. We got a generation of women that got bastard kids, and they blame all men for their miscomings instead of saying, okay, I chose to get with bad boys because the average man can't get a woman. The average man is actually in silence. And so only the top percentage of men are getting all the women, but somehow all black men as a whole are responsible for the irresponsible men that got her knocked up. And so these delusional women, guys, are what you see in society. I see them all the time, and you see them all the time. And you got a lot of Big Shirleys that think just like this woman because she said, I deserve it all. And the show guys I did in the past, they said that only God can judge me. And these women are hard to deal with, guys, because even other therapists say that they don't listen. They are insufferable. I see them all the time in my practice, some of them, and they won't change. And I'm gonna keep doing content like this because it's funny to me, and it's funny, but it's sad. Because if you won't listen to other rational black women, then I know you're not gonna listen to me. So, like Usher said, let it burn. Because see, there gotta be a de-evolution before there can be an evolution. I'm gonna say it again. It gotta be a de-evolution before there can be an evolution, because we got women like this that are making the great black women of the past look bad.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Finders keepers, losers we.
My perfect man would be a tall black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
I'm just tired of working.
And God, these are the conditions that we have now, because a lot of this is tied into mental illness. And if you don't believe me, guys, listen to what these therapists say. Hold tight.
Therapists explain in less than 4 minutes why modern women blacks struggle with taking accountability, and more than average lack the emotional intelligence or the maturity to make the proper choices in dating and other relationships. And due to the lack of safeguards in place, many men that are traditional and masculine are exercising their options by being silent and checking out.
I began to really think deeply about this idea, and one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. And
no one can hold black women accountable. Black women, unfortunately, we have adopted this mentality that I can do whatever I want to do and can't nobody tell me anything. And this is why we are where we're at. We live in a very selfish, egotistical society now that nobody cares. If you're a black woman and the whole black woman accountable, you have to be ready to fight, because it's going to come with a lot. I'm always thinking about how young girls are being influenced. So what us grown women are doing, it's influencing these girls to do these out of control, I don't care attitudes. They have the most disgusting attitudes, and you can't even check them because they have their moms who say I could do whatever I want. So can't no one hold us accountable. Not a black man. Your white boss probably, that's probably the only one who can tell us what to do because he pay us. A gay man can tell us what to do. If it's a black woman or a black man, a straight black man, we don't want to hear it.
If you want to piss a black woman off, just tell her the truth. I promise you she'll get mad. And that might sound crazy. Who would get mad at the truth? How can you argue with the truth? Black women. It is our kryptonite. It is like diarrhea to the mouth. It's like diarrhea to the soul. We have this disdain thing when it comes to the truth.
That I can't cover everything at once or we would be here all day, but I also see women as more disordered than men. It's not just what I think, it's not just what I see by using my 2 eyes, my 2 ears, and some common sense, but it's also in the statistics, and we have to talk about that. So when I say that women are more disordered than others, it's not a perception. It's a reality. It's a fact. It shows up in the numbers. Like, it's so bad that we can actually quantify it. It's not a qualitative issue. It's not about your experience or your perception or what's going on in your world or your circle. We're talking about this is so prevalent that it actually shows up in the numbers. We can quantify how big of a problem this is.
Haven't really changed since the death of Kevin Samuels. and many other content creators that try to be clarion callers and tell the truth. And so the more things change, the more things remain the same. And so this is our imitating life, because many will not make the proper adjustments to get the outcomes, because many suffer from a condition called arrested development. Many are suffering from arrested development. They're suffering from arrested development, and many will be by themselves if they don't change and make the proper adjustment. So let's look at Sassy.
Well, Mariana,
let's look at Sassy Santana, guys. Hold tight.
Isabel Mariana, I notice, she's on Instagram, I notice that many men look for relationships with women overseas where masculinity is still valued, as I'm sure also a green card might be, but anyway, rather than...
Y'all heard her throw a little shade. She was throwing shade. They always think that women are brought on green cards. And that's not true, but nonetheless, Dr. Helen Smith was balanced and fair.
And date people in the United States. Have you seen this?
They have a name for it. I forget what it is, but it's like passport bros. Passport bros, they call them.
And God, that's how powerful male media's got. Male media is what got Donald Trump elected. Male media is on Fox News. Male media is on CNN. It's a cultural phenomenon, because when you subvert men and make them feel like they're less than, men by nature are like pack animals, and they seek refuge and they seek guidance. And that's why so many men come to male spaces to seek refuge and seek guidance.
So these passport bros do, they want to find, go overseas and find a woman because they say they're more feminine. That doesn't always work out so well. Some of the men, they go over, they get the women come back here, and they can still have the same issues. But I do think it goes to the issue of respect. I think American men do not feel respected. That is the one thing in my book that I found out and that I'm talking to men about now. The biggest thing they talk about is respect, that they do not feel respected by American women. And I think they're, even in their mind, whether true or not, they feel that these women overseas do respect them, and feel that, I think it's important for men to show that, that they are masculine. And I think that they want somebody who isn't going to think that that's toxic. So
why do you think young men are lost without many role models and turn to extremes like Andrew Tate? Are you familiar?
And see, there's a false equivocation, guys, that all men that travel are somehow tied to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is not even in the manosphere. He has male talking points, but most men in the manosphere are independent thought content creators. We are adjacent to the manosphere, but we have our own thought. And so Andrew Tate doesn't dictate how men think. He gives his own talking points, but because his name happens to be the biggest, then it's a problem. But it's gotten so big, guys, that it's not only in the local news, but it's also in worldwide news. That's how phenomenal the passport bros and male content creators have become. Because, see, she doesn't have any power but the power that you give her. They don't have no power but the power that you give her. And once you realize that you got power, even though men have strong primal sexual urges for women, and when you learn to walk away, then you'll get your power back.
Familiar with Andrew Tate? Okay, and then just, talk a little bit about the pickup artist type, fads out there and why they're so popular.
Well, I mean, she sort of hit on it. The men don't have any role models. Nobody teaches them anything anymore, and they're basically lost. In fact, I think I saw recently that boys are actually turning to Chat GP to sort of find out about dating because they really don't understand. So if they have no role model, nobody to really talk to them about how to date or do anything, I don't think example, but I have to turn to someone like Jordan Peterson, who obviously is a psychologist. He understands the psychology of boys and men and what they need and want. And I think that those ideas are not bad things. I also think women underestimate how hard it is. Here's an example. The majority of women, say you go to a dating app, the majority of women find most men undateable. In the past, young men might have been able to find somebody. Most women wanted a husband. Nowadays, women don't need a
How many of you men that are listening due to psychological abuse have checked out of dating and relationships? How many of you men that are listening due to psychological abuse are checked out in dating and relationships? And tell me in the comments why. If you want me to read your comment, you can send a super chat to help me reach my goals, all right? But if you're checked out of dating and relationship, tell me why. If you want me to read it out aloud, send a super chat. Thank you.
husband, right? They can, which is good. They can make their own money. They don't need that. But at the same time,
daddy, boyfriends, husbands.
So once again, guys, this is Saucy Santana. I call him Saucy Santana. This effeminate guy worrying about what black men are doing with their penis. But you know, you're happy. You're a happy guy. So why are you concerned about what men are doing with their phallus? And you're happy. And one of the reasons why men are becoming passport bro guys is because of this.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think he's talking to you.
腰はひねって S 字型。
Yeah. They're going over there trying to get them mangoes. They're going for feminine women, man. Men are looking for feminine women. And the world don't like it because they can't stop them. They use all kind of comments and you know, they assume all passport bros are buying cat. And they are buying cat. That's between them and God. They got to answer to God for that. But this is going to be a good show, guys. We're going to talk about how and why men are doing the behaviors that they're exhibiting. Because men are checking out, and you got a whole man, a grown man that's alphabet, worrying about what men are doing when he should be delivered with a T.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
He over there say he don't like men's. He over in Colombia say he don't like men's with a Z. He like women. He over there say he don't like men's with a Z no more. He like women. But let's listen to Saucy Santana. But before we get into Saucy Santana, guys, let me show you guys why they hate the passport bros. So you got guys like Daniel the Simp online troll. They troll black men. You know, struggles with getting dates with women. Daniel the online simp troll. He got a purse. He got man pawns. And he said the future is woman. I guess it's supposed to be Balenciaga. Belakova. I don't know what that is. But he struggles with men, struggles with getting dates with women, and Daniel the online simp. And I've been getting online simp troll, guys, because these men are projecting out of anger towards other men because they don't have the power that we have. Instead of doing the work and realizing that falling to a woman doesn't make a woman want you. What makes a woman want you or more or less respect you is when you stand on business as a man. And when you know when it's time to walk away. But let's look at Saucy Santana, guys, real quick. Let's look at Saucy Santana. Hold tight.
Cousins, brothers, uncles, and daddies was all in Cartagena this weekend. I traveled to Cartagena to meet one of my friends who was traveling from Ecuador just for the weekend. It was my first time in Cartagena, and my God in heaven, y'all did not lie about the passport, bro. Baby, I got off the plane. I didn't know where I was at. It was black men as far as the eye could see. I took a little video while I was in the immigration line. They was grouped up and duped up. You hear me?
Why is a gray man that like men's, a gray man that like men's, a gray man that like men's concerned about what traditional masculine men are doing with their bodies? Our passport, our choice. Our money, our choice. Why do you care what traditional men are doing with their money? But guys, y'all see what I'm seeing is that men can't have agency. Shout out to Dr. Ron Neal.
The line was at least 2 hours long to get through immigration. I promise you, and I'm not lying, right hand to God, they probably had 5 women in this immigration line. Everybody else was black men. And I said, oh.
Shout out to my dear friend Red Lipstick. Shout out to her. I can't see these chat guys. Hold tight. Shout out to Red Lipstick. Shout out to my dear friend. How you doing, dear? It's a pleasure to see you in the chat. I got to reach out to you, Red Lipstick. Coach almost went to the upper room Tuesday, man. But thank God I'm alive. But I'll reach out to you, Red Lipstick. Almost went to the upper room. I'm grateful to be alive. But why is a man that like men's worried about what men are doing with their penis? And once again, it's proven that we live in a very gynocratic society, and the likes of April Masons of the world is proving my point that the greater responsibility falls on women, because women got all the power here in America, because sadly men gave it to them. But men are slowly taking their power back. And they're taking their power back by walking away.
There's a story here. I mean, they was coming in groups. The group that was in front of me was a group of 10, bitch. A group of 10 that had came from Philly. How I knew they was from Philly? Because I could hear their accent. I could hear them talking. I was looking at them in line, downloading Tinder. I said, them people did not fucking lie.
I bet you were looking at them in Tinder. I bet you were looking at them in Tinder. I bet you were looking at them in Tinder. Looking at those men's. I bet you were looking at those men's with a Z. Now understanding that men like you perpetuate why men are getting away from America. And why men are trying to get them some mangoes. Columbia mangoes abroad. Because they want to be respected and heard as men.
Now, this is my first time in Cartagena. I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, I've been to Colombia before, I've been to Cali, but I didn't think that I was coming to the whole fest. But that's what the fuck was going on. And anybody with a peon, any type of peon of a brain could see what the fuck is going on down there in Cartagena. When you walking down the streets, the women is literally pulling on you, winking, calling you pop. They trying to get it. They working. And
now, at least Saucy Santana is being honest with this, because they always say that men. They always say that men are exploiting these women. They always lying, talking about their children, and that's called paranoid persecution, and also a term that I created called schema afflictions. A schema affliction is a core belief that's predicated in pain and fear. It's called a schema afflictions. And so these women have been afflicted through the pain and fear because they feared that men are beginning to walk away. Because remember, they didn't like the men that they're complaining about. So why do you care? But in order to have control and power, it's really an ego defense mechanism called reaction formation. That's how they got power. To those that came in here, guys, I had a head-on collision, man, or lady pulled out in front of me and wrecked my beautiful Tahoe. But I'm grateful to be alive. I'm surprised I'm not more angry. But God got a ram in the bush, and yeah, I got something going on. But I'm gonna keep that to myself. But I'll keep you all updated. I just want to be quiet due to legal issues. But listen to the Sauce Antenna. Hold tight.
And they paying for it. They paying for it. They down there buying coochie. I was so embarrassed.
He said they down there buying coochie. That's a he's a great. That's a great plantation, bro. He is a great plantation, bro. Because he worried about men's buying coochie. I don't need no passport. Black women in America need our love right here. Rich dad, poor dad. That's him. Rich dad, poor dad. The travel is a colonial mindset. They got beaches here. I support my sister, but he probably said I support my brothers. And that's why I stay here. Why gotta go to Colombo when I got queens here in America? In America.
In that immigration line, because
yeah. Listen, even the gray ones don't want to see black men happy. The gray ones don't want to see men happy. They want the men's. They want the men's to give them the attention. He want the men's to give him attention.
I could just feel the people that's from Cartagena looking at us, because I'm in the fucking line too. They looking at us saying, let's just look at them lined up to come buy some cat. All the way in South America. Y'all didn't lie. I thought y'all was lying. I thought y'all was bitter because, these black men is out here traveling and they got their passports, and that's why I was just so happy that black men just had passports and they was, seeing the world. No.
This man is dealing with men. They probably done all kinds of other things. He probably gobbling down hot dogs when he traveled abroad. But you worry about what other men do with that, with their phalluses, man. He probably gobbled down hot dogs when he traveled abroad. But you worry about shout out to my man Philip Redding. But you worry about what black men are doing. Yeah, Frugal Ray show. He's worrying about passport bros buying cruise while he's borrowing boy buddy. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Them motherfuckers is lined up.
Oh man, hold on.
Men is out here traveling and they got their passports, and that's why I was just so happy that black men just had passports and they was, seeing the world. No. Them motherfuckers is lined up to go participate. And you know what? I ain't gonna say too much on here. But all I'm gonna say is y'all was right. And I apologize. I have never seen nothing like this in my life. Child, they was walking the streets of Cartagena in packs, like a packs of wild dogs.
Isn't it strange that a man that's gray is concerned about what men is doing with their phalluses? Or maybe he's jealous because
those men that he might find attractive is not giving him attention to. That's called reaction formation, guys. You don't respect the men here in America. You're not honorable. You're not virtuous. You don't want to cook. You don't want to clean. You don't want to submit. You don't obey. You don't honor. You don't make the men feel respected. So what are they supposed to do? Means drive behaviors. And even the gray simps are trying to tell men what to do, guys. Mental illness at its finest.
Looking for cats. I'm speechless. And it's all ages, from 17 up to 70, bitch. They out.
You said from 17 up to 70. Yeah, men got power. See, the American woman is doing what she want to do. Let these men live. Let these men live. because this guy's from New Orleans too, guys. Because if you went over to Colombia, and you went over there looking for some of them pretty mangoes, you might change your mindset and become deliberate.
Not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women.
Yeah. Sassy Santana. You know, if he get the mangoes, he might travel abroad and start liking women's. He might start liking women's. He might start liking women's. Yeah, he got to get the mangoes. You know, he might start liking women's instead of worrying about what heterosexual black men are doing. We don't bother alphabet men. So why are you worried about what heterosexual men are doing? But once again, guys, the world don't want black men to have power. They want us under the feet of the gynocracy. And black men are waking up. If they're over there buying cat, they're buying cat over here too. See, when a man go out and take a woman out on dates, women that don't want them, that's a culture-rated prostitution. Shout out to Ron Wills. Because you're hoping to get some cat. You're hoping to get cat. And after 3 days, you might not get anything because she never liked you. But see, somebody told me that the American whore is greater than the typical American woman. The foreign whore, they said, is greater because even though she's out to get money, she still gives you a girlfriend experience. That's what they tell me. And even Saucy Santana don't like it.
They're hunting in packs, looking for cat. I was blown away. And as I'm listening to them, like as I'm in these lines and I'm listening because I'm nosy, bitch.
And you know what? We don't see white men trying to tell other white men what to do. White men have been traveling for centuries, going to Thailand, the Philippines, Brazil, and just living their lives. But you know, it's only a problem when black men do it. It's only a problem, guys, when black men do it because the gynocratic order want black men under their feet. They want you to feel less than. They don't want you to know what your worth is. They don't want you to know that $50,000 in a foreign country, you're rich. You're getting feminine women. You're getting women that have been raised right. And all women over there don't want men just because they got green cards. Can some be that way? Sure. Women can be very predatory when it comes down to resources. But men that are wise, they understand the game.
I'm listening to them talking about how they travel throughout Colombia and they go to these different cities and they don't like this city because of this and this city because of that. Y'all. I can't believe it. I cannot believe this. I didn't want this to be true, but it's true. Unfortunately, it's true. And one last thing before I go, they all had on these fake chains. You could tell they were so fake because they were so bright. They were supposed to be like silver or platinum, but they was just so fucking bright. They looked like fucking aluminum on their neck. And everybody had these fake diamond chains on. I said, I don't want to be here. That's what I got off the plane. I said, can we bring me back? Bring me to another destination. I don't want to be here because this is a lot.
The only reason why the women are able to get away with it.
Now, I had a conversation with April Mason, guys. I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes. But April Mason said that it was, if men would stop going on OnlyFans and paying for strippers, they would go out, that they won't do the behavior. So basically, she was trying to say is that women that have free agency women that have free agency over their bodies and knowing that sex is a very primary nature of a man, I said both are accountable. Men are responsible if they buy it, yes. But the greater accountability falls on the woman because she's feeding to a primal need of a man. Most men now are in sexless relationships. The average man can't even get a woman for sex because of her inflation. And when those men are not getting their needs met in regular relationships, they turn to OnlyFans and they turn to porn because the women in their lives sometimes are not respecting them. But if the women were like the women of old, like your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers and maybe even your mothers, then the men will have no other choice but to get on par because the women got power when they come down to self-sabotaging themselves and showing their bodies. So April Mason and I had a disagreement. I'm going to show you the conversation that April and I had. We're going to talk about April Mason and the culture clinician. April Mason say it's men's fault. Women are it's men's fault that men are on OnlyFans and are strippers. And we're about to shame the devil in a minute, so hold tight.
It's because of men. The only reason why OnlyFans girls make so much money is because they have customers.
That is
so.
That is very
if we're
true.
going to talk about the women and how they are dressing and presenting themselves, we have to understand and talk to the men about their desire for that.
Well, listen, that's a false equivocation because April Mason's making a fallacious assumption that the black men solely are buying OnlyFans, and that's not true. OnlyFans is primarily white men. It's not black men. It's white men, and strip clubs are going out of business because men are not going. But imagine a world where women say, you know what, I respect my body. I'm going to be modest and I'm going to cover up. The men will have no other choice but to fall in line. They're going to get some cat because they're not even getting cat now anyway. But April Mason say it's men's fault. Where women years ago understood that women had more agency than men. But let me show you guys this clip. Hold tight.
Their look was based upon what catches y'all's eye.
Yep.
If they had on a burlap sack and a turtleneck, they would all be wearing that.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has a freaking part to play. They're doing it for y'all attention because y'all give it to them. It's like men will go into the strip club knowing that these women are there to take their money, but because you need to feel validated, you need to feel wanted and desired, y'all knowingly go in there, knowingly with a pocket full of money that you should be paying your rent with, but because I need this feeling and I need to feel this, I'll go here every week. So the same way when
imagine if women were the gatekeepers of their bodies. Imagine if average women gave average men love, honor, and respect. Then one could argue, in theory, that men won't have to need to go to that. But these men are going there because they're trying to get needs met. Because the women are the gatekeepers of femininity and sexuality. They're the gatekeepers. And you're right, Ren McKinley, mainly white women are the ones who sub to OnlyFans. Exactly, white men are. So, and I told April that in our debate, but of course April didn't respond back when I said that. She just looked over everything I said and said, well, I said all of that to say she was right. I didn't say you were right, ma'am. Your premise was flawed. There was some validity to what you said, but your overall premise was flawed. Because women are the gatekeepers of sex and sexuality. and how they comport themselves as women. If every woman had a level of modesty and modicum of respect concerning her body, then men would have no other choice but to be more determined to get married. But when you got a generation of women that wear yoga pants, showing the cat print, and they don't respect their bodies due to the sexual revolution, godly men trying to live right, they struggle with lust and temptation because the desires for a woman sexually is hardwired into a man. But instead of you knowing that, because most women don't understand men, you put all the blame on the man. Make it make sense.
Women need to, as you say, this whole prostitution culture, there's no prostitution culture without customers. So what are y'all going to do? And how are y'all going to change y'all appetite? Your palate has to change. So the women are only doing this to get you attention. And I believe that's why BBL culture is so prevalent, especially in the black community, because black men glorify what?
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Women get BBLs for competition with other women. And while there are black men, a portion of black men that like that, most black men don't like BBLs. We don't like fake boobs, fake hair, fake weave, fake lashes. Most men like natural women, meaning the women that go to the gym and do squats and get it natural, not BBLs and none of that nonsense. But what April Mason does, she gets creative. She takes away agency from the woman and shifts it to the man. And she uses a lot of broad generalization, which is a thinking error, and assume that it's men. But April Mason should understand, because April Mason used to be a gospel singer, the women have a greater culpability. That's why the gospel say women professing godliness dress in modest apparel. And I understand that all women are not Christians. I understand that. But this behavior is seen even in the church where women don't dress modest. They dress very provocative. And they put righteous men in danger because it puts them in a position where they struggle with lust. But you're going to turn around and blame it on the man. You're going to blame it on the man. Instead of women coming together and saying, listen, we want husbands. We want families. Even if we don't want husbands, I'm going to dress like a lady because I don't want men to struggle with lust. But we know that's not going to happen because women dress provocative because they want the attention of men. They dress provocative because they want attention. But you put the onus on men when that's part of their nature. A woman cat is part of a heterosexual male's nature.
So if you don't have that and you're not confident in who you are and you know what you are as a woman, what you have to offer, but you see all these men going crazy over tail, it causes you to feel less than. What are you going to go do? So yes, women have a part to play, but women are playing their part based upon y'all's appetite.
She said, but she didn't elaborate on the part where women have to play. She didn't elaborate and say that women need to start dressing better. She didn't elaborate and say that even though men and women are accountable, the greater onus is on her because the women are the gatekeepers to sex and sexuality. And that's a problem. But let me show you guys something. I had a conversation with April Mason. She was being somewhat sarcastic, but her and I had a conversation. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys the conversation that we had. And y'all tell me what y'all think. And let me be honest, I don't have nothing against this woman. I don't even know her. I think her premise is flawed. And so this is what I say. I said, I see your point. And it has some merit, but it is flawed. I told April Mason her premise is flawed because April Mason thinks that she puts the sole responsibility in theory on men. She puts the sole responsibility on men in theory. And she makes it seem that if men then get on OnlyFans or go to strip clubs, which is still a fallacy, because black men in large are not going to strip clubs. Strip clubs are dying, and OnlyFans, 7% of OnlyFans is white males. So it's a false equivocation, April Mason. Your equivocation is false. And when I showed her that part, she didn't say anything. But let me show you guys something. And once again, I don't have nothing against April Mason. She got her perspective, I got mine, but I think she's flawed. Because like a lot of guys say, a lot of these women are aged out, and they trying to tell other women things, but yet where's their husbands? Well, let me see if I can find the comments. Hold tight. I got to see if I can find it. All right, so I said, I see your point, and it has some merit, but it is flawed. While men are responsible, because April Mason said, I said that men weren't flawed, men weren't responsible. Not one time did I say that men are not responsible. Not one time did I said men do have a level of culpability. They do. But the greater responsibility falls on them. Because see, we don't have a patriarchy. See, if we had a real patriarchy like in Iran and in the Middle East, because see, a true patriarchy is when the men dictate how the women dress. We don't have a patriarchy over here in America. Black men never had a patriarchy. Because if we had a true patriarchy, then we could pass rules and legislation saying that you have to dress yourself accordingly as an American citizen, but we don't. And because we don't have laws and rules consistent like Middle East countries, not saying we got to go there, I'm not saying that, but in those countries, they have safeguards in place to control how women dress, but we don't in America. So you incite the lust in men based on how you dress. That's why theology said women professing godliness dress in modest apparel. So I told her, I see your point, and I said, while men are responsible, the greater responsibility is on you, is on the woman. Theology tells women to dress modest, and it can apply to secular women too. I said sex is very primal for men. And I say it's illogical to think that vagina and the body of a woman is not hardwired in men. It's hardwired in men. That's why theology say flee fornication. Sexuality is hardwired in men, just like security is hardwired in women. Security and protection is hardwired in women. I'm not saying that women don't want intimacy. I'm not saying that. But women are hardwired for security and protection. That's why a lot of times once they get married, the sex stops. I'm proving my point, guys. Come on now. That's why a lot of times once they get married, the intimacy stops because they got security and protection. This is some good stuff. The intimacy stopped because many times they had all the fun they wanted before they got married, and they married you, a sucker. And then you don't get any cat. I talk to men all the time that said before they got married, they got copious amounts of intimacy from their wife. But once he said, I do, then it stopped. So why is that? He was hardwired to continue to get intimacy, and she was hardwired for security and protection. But she got what she wanted, which was a security and protection, but he didn't get what he wanted, which was intimacy. So imagine if a man took security and protection and dangled it in front of a woman that was on the streets because she was poor and she didn't have nobody to protect herself. Imagine if a woman that's wired for security and protection needed her car fixed, and the man gave her the hopes that she would get her car fixed, but yet he didn't do it because he gave her the hopes, and therefore she's distressed and frustrated because she don't have men in the community to help her. And then I turn around and victim blame her and say, well, you need to have discipline and fix your own car. And that's basically what April Mason is saying. I said women are and should be the first line of accountability. As I say, and great-grandmama didn't dress and act like whores because they respected their bodies. I say it starts with women first because modesty enhances the imagination. How many of you men believe that modesty enhances the imagination? I need you to hit 1 if you believe that modesty enhances the imagination. How many of you guys believe that modesty enhances the imagination? Hit 1. I didn't see the super chat, but sure, let me read the, dear. Thank you, dear. Shout out to Bashur. She's the #1 sponsor of this stream. And Sister Bashur, Lady Bashur said this. She said, when you admonish modern women about things like dress and modesty and not wearing bonnets and yoga pants and butt crack gym pants and shorts in the public, they say it's respectable politics and see it negatively. I totally agree. And then Bashur said, once again, for the 10, she said that I wear primarily mid-calf to ankle-length skirts and dresses head cover and carry myself as a lady in public. I get more open doors and help carrying things to my car as a result. Yes, because the way you present yourself is in a feminine, lady-like manner. But somehow April Mason say it's men's fault. Somehow April Mason say it's men's fault. And shout out to Bashur, as she is the #1 sponsor of this stream, followed by the Quiet Storm. Thank you, dear. Correction, shout out to Ray Johnson and Bashur for being the #1 sponsor. Shout out to Ray Johnson and Bashur as they are the #1 sponsors. But April Mason is putting the responsibility on men. And let me tell you guys something. My grandmama used to say, women that dress inappropriate were common. My grandmama Bill used to say, women that dress inappropriate were common. But how are the women of yesterday understood the importance of dressing appropriate and modesty and like a lady, but women of this generation don't understand and blame the men. You put OnlyFans out. You go to the gym dressing inappropriate, but then you turn around and blame the men for something that's hardwired inside of them. If you would take the accountability first, then we won't even have the conversation, because you are the gatekeeper to sexuality and femininity. And this is what April Mason says, a femininity coach. She said, you mean theology that was written by men to tell women what to be. That's what April Mason say, a rebel. And I think April Mason used to be a gospel singer. See, let me tell you something, guys. Even these modern femininity coaches are undercover feminists. They are undercover feminists. And what she's doing right now is purporting sign language, shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. And also she's deaf because she has cognitive dissonance. Because I agree with her, I say in part. I just said her total premise was flawed. She said, yes, women face consequences for their choices, but so do men. I never said they didn't, ma'am. I never said men didn't. She said, if there's no greater kind of place on men, how men spend their money, they shouldn't be, there shouldn't be more weight placed on how she earns her. That's a fallacy. Because a woman does not have to go and sell her body and showcase her body to make money, but due to greed and lust, and because she don't have any morals, then she does it. She doesn't have to revert to selling her body on OnlyFans. I'm not saying that men don't have a level of accountability. They do. Because it's true that men didn't buy it, then they will have no other choice. But once again, the greater accountability falls on the woman because she's the gatekeeper to sexuality and femininity. But April Mason's supposed to be a femininity coach. Now watch this. It gets interesting. She said, here's what I noticed. Every time a man says, well, she shouldn't be offering it, he's really admitting I have no self-mastery. That's not leadership, that's deflection. No, it's not. No, it's not. You shouldn't be tempting men, and many times men are in environments they have no other choice but to be in temptation. When you go to the gym, you're dressing provocative. When you go to the church, you're dressing provocative. But you tell the man to have the self-mastery, when the self-mastery should first start with you. Yes, men should have self-mastery, but the greater should fall back on the woman because she's the gatekeeper. She said, if I love sweets and walk into a bakery, no one forced me to pull out my money and buy the cake. I made a decision. There's a responsibility. The responsibility is mine, not the baker for putting it on display. But you cannot equivocate, April Mason, a man eating a bakery cake to a primal nature of men being hardwired for sexuality. While food is a primary need, sex also could be seen as a primary need or a sub-primary need because men are hardwired. She said, when it really boils down to, and maybe look, what it really boils down to is that the fact many of you would rather the option not to exist because you like discipline to say no. But when it's a discipline, April Mason, the women that say, I'm going to dress myself right and dress myself accordingly. And guess what, April Mason? Men are beginning to walk away. Men are beginning to exercise their male sovereignty. Because, see, there was one time where Cat had value. Cat had more value than it has now. Cat used to be valuable. Cat used to be very valuable back in the day because women had respect. They respected themselves. But women now don't have respect like they did years ago. They don't have respect like they did years ago. And so for April Mason to put the sole accountability on the men is foolish. It doesn't make any sense. How's the women like your grandmothers and great-grandmothers that had 8th grade educations understood this, but a so-called femininity coach don't get it? So she's trying to be funny. She said, instead of saying, I choose not to indulge, some of y'all want the entire temptation walked off the map so you don't have to practice restraint. And so basically, I'm going to put men under duress, knowing that that's a very primal need of a man, and hold him under condemnation. Joseph, when he was around Potiphar's wife, due to her sexual allure, he fled fornication. He ran. But see, the problem, April Mason, is that many times men don't have nowhere to run. Because women, they are in men's circles. They dress like 304s in the church. They dress like 304s in school. And they dress very provocative in the gyms. Every time men have men's spaces, they invade them. But yet you turn around and blame the men for having sexual urges. I'm not saying that men don't play a role. Men do play a role. But the greater role and the greater responsibility falls on you because you are the gatekeeper to sex and sexuality. And then she said, y'all also don't like them a woman has to be proper from your weakness. Who said that? I don't. Let me tell you something. April Mason is nothing but a modern feminist. A modern feminist that goes by a femininity coach. She's a feminist. We don't want them to practice offering. I don't think black men are sitting around saying we're upset because women are profiting off of our weakness. That's a convoluted mindset. She said the blame keeps getting solely placed on women often when men's actions show they have low sexual discipline. The truth you don't want to admit, but it's not one matters most. Like I said in the video, both parties have a part to play. And I said both parties do play a role, but the greater accountability falls on her. And I don't know why she can't understand that. But she said, but you would rather place the great responsibility on the woman with a question mark. So let me ask you women and men that got some common sense. And women are the gatekeepers to sexuality and also sex. Who has the greater responsibility? Because while men controlling their lust, that is true. But one will argue that the greater responsibility falls on the woman. Now, this is what I said to April Mason. Watch this. Because y'all know I'm going to keep it kosher. And I said, laugh out loud, cognitive distortions at its finest. That's called minimization. The same Bible that you state want to control women actually benefits women. Whether you believe in theology or not, it's just common sense, April Mason. The same Bible women rebel against and tell them, the same Bible women rebel against tell them to love their wives and die for them. But how can a man respect masculine ran through women? And you are correct, men do need discipline. But how is that prior to the sexual revolution? No woman was greater than black women in America in the past. Women with 8th grade education knew that modesty started with them and it led to higher marriage rates. Grandma and great-grandma didn't dress like whores, and most were not ran through. But now women get mad because they don't date or court women because they gave their value away for free. Average men suffer in silence, and many times the average men are going looking at OnlyFans and going to strip clubs. But like I said earlier, guys, April Mason is trying to equivocate this as a black man issue, but it's not a black man issue. OnlyFans is mostly watched by white men. Might be incels, and a lot of times it's married white men. And why married white men on OnlyFans? Well, a lot of it is because they're not getting intimacy from their wives either. So sometimes they feel compelled to look at women online because sex is a primal need for men. But you want to put the onus on men. You should be talking to white men, April Mason, not black men, because black men are not on OnlyFans like that. But average is not good enough. But they are average themselves. Modern women are rebellious. I see it all the time in practice and take no accountability. Are those men responsible too? Yes. But the greater proof starts with her, as she's the gatekeeper to sex, sexuality, femininity, and nurturing. Women of old understood this, but women now are clueless. Men determine who they marry as we gatekeep relationships. Most women don't qualify to be wives or deserve to be wives. I said, I'm not attacking you, but your premise is flawed overall. You have some valid points, but not overall. Now, of course, April Mason, because she's masculine, got to go back and forth with a man. April got to go back and forth with a man. Hold tight for a minute, guys. Let me turn this fan on. She got to go back and forth with the kosher clinician. A licensed therapist. She got to go back and forth with me, with the kosher clinician. Hold tight. All right, I'm back. So let's get back into it, guys. Hold tight. And so I said, most women don't qualify. I said, most women don't qualify to be wives or deserve it. So she said, so you say all that to say only to finally land on what I said in the beginning. I don't know what April is talking about because I clearly said that they both play a role. And I didn't agree with you, ma'am, 100%. I said you have some valid points. But April Mason has selective reading. Because April Mason is 50 years old. And a lot of these women, guys, they're done. Listen, a lot of Gen X women are insufferable. And I'm going to do a show on that tomorrow with Peaceful Life. But a lot of Gen X women are insufferable. Don't have no level of decorum and no level of respect. They are insufferable. And they're going to sign language. So you say all of that to finally land on what I said from the beginning. Men need to be disciplined too. But what did I not say, guys, that men need discipline? I don't know what this woman is reading because I clearly said that men and women both need to be held accountable. But I said the great accountability falls on the woman. So if I'm wrong, guys, Tell me where I'm wrong at. I need somebody to tell me where I'm wrong at. Is April Mason right? Or is the kosher clinician right? Because in my mind, logic would say that the greater responsibility falls on the woman. I'm not saying men don't play a role too. Men do play a role. But due to the biological nature of a man and due to sexual deprivation of men, the greater responsibility falls on the woman because she's inciting lust. I'm not talking about OnlyFans in general because, as I said earlier, OnlyFans is mostly white men that are married. But if women were nurturing and kind and sweet and gave their men copious amounts of intimacy, one will argue, in theory, that men would be less inclined to revert to things like that. This is what I'm talking about. The conversation always starting pointing fingers at women first, but you strip away all the extra commentary. The root issue is the same, lack of discipline. Also, Christian folks have to stop assuming that everyone that they speak to shares the same Bible beliefs and stories. Ma'am, okay, what's your point? Most Jewish law came out of the Bible. So if you don't believe in the Bible, fine, take the Bible off the table. It's just common sense. But if you want to use the Bible, our ancestors used the Bible as a template for modesty and how women should conduct themselves. Because Jewish prudence is predicated in theology. Many of the laws that you see in America came from a theological framework. And I understand that everybody's not a Christian or whatever, that's fine. And so she says stop assuming, but it's clear that April Mason don't believe, doesn't read. Because if you go back and read what I said clearly, guys, I clearly said whether you're secular or whether you're a Christian. So let me go back, because a lot of these women got selective amnesia. Let me go back and read it, because I know I'm not crazy. I said theology tells women to dress modest, and if it can apply to secular women too. Hold tight. And I said clearly right here, whether you believe in theology or not, it's common sense. Whether you believe in theology or not, it's just common sense. So she said, I'm talking like I'm trying to push a biblical perspective. I'm solely trying to push a biblical perspective. It's just common sense. I'm not totally trying to push a biblical perspective. I'm trying to get credence to how theology can enhance the consciousness of men and women. She said, one reason is why I'm an effective coach is that I connect people from all over the walks of life without imposing. Ma'am, I didn't impose my belief. I didn't impose no beliefs. There are people that are not Christians that use the Bible as a template to address moral codes and moral dogmas and moral dilemmas. And they're not necessarily Christians. Because the scripture has some level of validity. She said, if you're not careful, your values can quietly become your biases. We don't bring religion into sports and business yet somehow when it comes to life and relationships, it's always a default. But once again, April Mason don't understand that the moral code of our ancestors were predicated in theology. And I'm always cognizant of that. I know about confirmation bias. I understand that. But that's why I clearly say whether you believe in the Bible or not is a very valid point, a valid book. She said we have practical, respectful conversations without always turn. But it's not a theological debate, April Mason. It's not a theological debate. It's a common sense debate to use theological applications in the debate. Gregory Scotland says, salute kosher. Are women still arguing with men on social media about them coming to the gym half naked? Right, I agree. Are women still arguing with men on social media about them coming to the gym half naked? Gregory Scotland said that the bottom line is the red pill and the manosphere has won. More and more have checked out. Men are gaming, going SYBM, passport bro, MGTOW, working on their mental, physical, and spiritual health. Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%, Brother Gregory. 100%. 100%, Brother Gregory. Jones Boy said, I don't go to strip clubs if only my money, he said, I don't go to strip clubs if only my money on me only. Gregory said that Coach, another black male content creator, was questioned about his credentials. You are on talking about the mental state of black women. No respect for black men. Yeah. It don't bother me because I was questioning about mine. But they don't question this men. They want therapists, Brother Gregory, to confirm their delusion. The Big Shirley delusion deluxe. I deserve it all. High income, car, house, and sign Uber Eats. She never wrong and never splitting the bill. And so let's say if April Mason's right. Guess what, men? Start checking out. Men are already checking out because we see the writing on the wall. Men are already checking out. And we're going to keep checking out because April Mason want to hold men accountable for women dressing like whores but men now are checking out because men are the gatekeepers to relationships. So men are saying, you know what, okay, fine, April, since you want to put it on men, fine. We're going to check out because we're the gatekeepers to relationships. Because you can't marry yourself. Whether you want to get married or not, even if you don't want to get married, you still need men because men created the world. Exactly, Gregory Scholar. She was supposed to be a minister in the past, and somebody else was telling me that. She was supposed to be a minister in the past. But somehow now, she got a problem with what I'm saying. So that lets me know she's falling away from the love of money. Hold tight.
So what y'all gonna do?
So I told April Mason, I said, while men are responsible, I said, greater responsibility is on the woman. And so I was looking at this, guys, from a theological and a common sense perspective. And I said, theology tells women to dress modest, and this can apply. So let me go down. Hold tight. And so this is the last response to April Mason. I said, April, go back and read what I said carefully. I said, clearly, while both are accountable, greater responsibility is on the woman. No different than she's trying to assert that greater accountability is on the man. She's saying both are responsible, but she's selling it like men are more culpable than the women. I said, women feed a primal need that men have. And there's a misnomer that black men are on OnlyFans. It's not. 7% of OnlyFans is white married men. I agree with you. Everybody's not Christian. But the epigenesis to morality and conduct comes from the Bible. If the average woman would comport herself like women of old, we wouldn't have these issues. I am a licensed therapist, and women don't want accountability. But I would love to have a respectful conversation. But needs drive behaviors. And so, guys, listen, American women mostly are done. And this person said that women who deserve to be wives and marry younger when you are fit and more beautiful. Don't wait until you pass the wall. The same man will make it rain in the streets and will make it rain at home for his hot, beautiful wife. And they get mad that men are becoming passport bros. And she's still being combative. She said, ma'am, there is a wall, and we all face it. Women have to get their parts of their life together sooner than men. The problem is many women think they have more time than they actually do. Thus, we have unmarried women out here trying to tell women how to get married. Good times. And of course, April had to keep going back and forth. I'm not going to read all of this. He said, ma'am, that's your position when women were polled. Most want to be married. The issue is after career, children, and men fighting you on it, do you. You're free and I support you. And that's what a lot of men are saying. Men are saying, you know what? Just do you. This brother Jim Next Level said that 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime, but not 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime to anyone. They have the shortest marriages and filing for divorce at nearly 80%. Like, I'm not happy. If women want to marry sooner, they're married sooner. Stay married and divorce limitation will be a lot lower. The numbers don't lie. This person said, this is sad because prostitution has been going on since the beginning of the time. How is the man false when women have to advertise and give us access to their bodies? But in true patriarchies, men will have control over their bodies and tell them you're not going to be busting it down and doing whatever. And so Abraham makes him an intelligent man. Abel said, look at the hypocrisy, guys. Abel said, don't bring the Bible to the conversation. But watch this. This man, Great Day, said, you speak true. A man is tempted when he's drawn in his lust and enticed. In a nice way, you said, take accountability for the role that you play in the outcomes. And so it was okay for this man to use the Bible that supported April Mason's position. But when I used the Bible to support my position, then she deflected. Do y'all see the hypocrisy? Y'all see the hypocrisy? Now look what Clyde Branch said. He said, I remember growing up and hearing the women in my family. See, back then, women were the gatekeepers, though, when black women were the real gatekeepers to sex. But American women after the sexual revolution has become acculturated prostitutes. Black women years ago didn't act like 304s. He said, I remember growing up and hearing the women in my family tell the younger women, don't sleep with men don't sleep with that man unless he give you something. So me hearing that a man that told me that getting sex would be easy because my mama told my sister that she would give up sex if he's giving her something. So we taught to be prostitutes. Listen to what this woman is saying again. Hold tight.
Girls make so much money.
Oh,
it's because they have
goodness.
customers.
That is
if
very
we're
true.
going to talk about the women and how they are dressing and presenting themselves, we have to understand and talk to the men about their desire for that. Their look was based upon what catches y'all's eye.
Yep.
If they had on a burlap sack and a turtleneck, they would all be wearing that.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has a freaking part to play. They're doing it for y'all attention because y'all give it to them. It's like men will go into the strip club knowing that these women are there to to take their money, but because you need to feel validated, you need to feel wanted and desired, y'all knowingly go in there, knowingly with a pocket full of money that you should be paying your rent with, but because I need this feeling and I need to feel this, I'll go here every week. So the same way women need to, as you say, this whole prostitution culture, there's no prostitution culture without customers. So what are y'all gonna do? And how are y'all gonna change y'all appetite? Your palate has to change. So the women are only doing this to get you attention. And I believe that's why BBL culture is so prevalent, especially in the black community, because black men glorify what? Big butts. So if you don't have that and you're not confident in who you are and you know what you are as a woman, what you have to offer, but you see all these men going crazy over tail, it causes you to feel less than. What are you going to go do? So yes, women have a part to play, but women are playing their part based upon y'all's appetite. So what y'all gonna?
She said, but that's the contrast. So I'm gonna seduce men into lust instead of covering myself to reduce their lust. We know women that dress conservative still could be lusted after men, but common sense say the more she's covering herself, the less he will lust. I remember growing up in the church, and when the women would fall out under the spirit, they would put a white sheet over the woman. They would cover the woman up so that the men in the church wouldn't be tempted to lust at the woman. but somehow, April Mason doesn't get that. It's Juju said that but white men lead the prostitute, the same one who stole you from your grandparents, is now flashing the same money in your faces, making you break up your homes. But it don't matter. Men are checking out. Men are checking out other relationships, guys. They are so don't care. They are so not caring, and they're going to suffer the recompense of their error. They're going to suffer the recompense of their error, and they're going to suffer the recompense of their ignorance. I'm going to show you guys real quick what Dr. Helen Smith is saying. And Dr. Helen Smith is a licensed psychologist. And guys, I use clinical concepts to understand urban topics. So listen what Dr. Helen Smith is saying. Because if you guys just came in, black men are traveling abroad. They're checking out in droves, and they're saying to HELL with the gynocracy.
Isabel Mariana. I notice, she's on Instagram, I notice that many men look for relationships with women overseas where masculinity is still valued, as I'm sure also a green card might be, but anyway, rather than date people in the United States. Have you seen this?
They have a name for it. I forget what it is, but it's like passport bros they call them. So these passport bros they want to find, go overseas and find a woman because they say they're more feminine. That doesn't always work out so well. Some of the men, they go over, they get the women come back here and they can still have the same issues. But I do think it goes to the issue of respect. I think American men do not feel respected. That is the one thing in my book that I found out and that I'm talking to men about now. The biggest thing they talk about is respect, that they do not feel respected by American women. And I think they're, even in their mind, whether true or not, they feel that these women over.
See, that's the major difference from people like April Mason versus myself. A relationship coach is not a licensed clinical therapist. A relationship coach doesn't understand psychodynamics. She doesn't understand psychoanalysis. They don't understand psyche, soma, and pneuma, soul, body, and mind. She doesn't understand how there are variables that play a role in the behavior of men. See, I always reference Dr. William Glasser, and Dr. William Glasser said the needs drive behaviors. Power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. Men don't feel like they have power in America. They don't feel like they belong. They don't have freedom, and they're not surviving, and they're not having fun. Because American women have become so narcissistic and self-aggrandizing that relationship coaches coach people about life, but relationship coaches don't understand the nuances that cause men and women, but mostly men, to have psychopathologies that are not consistent with them functioning in the world. So a relationship coach doesn't have the same merits as a licensed therapist, because they don't understand the biopsychosocial spiritual model. They don't understand how all those elements are integrated into the essence of a man. So life coaches are not licensed clinical therapists. No disrespect, but you don't have the same power nor the same knowledge as a licensed clinical therapist. You're doing things based on anecdotal reasoning and some levels of pragmatism and practicality, but it's not based on biology, medicine, social constructs, and other areas, and also religion. I look at it through all dimensions: the bio, the psycho, the social, and the spiritual. But April Mason doesn't. And so when I try to equivocate it that way, some understand it and some don't. And so, of course, you know, if I was a therapist that affirmed women in their pathological behavior, then I would be the greatest therapist on YouTube. But because I'm a male rights advocate and I see the BS of modern women, then, you know, I question his credentials. It's funny, guys.
Do respect them and feel that I think it's important for men to show that, you know, that they are masculine, and I think that they want somebody who isn't going to think that that's toxic. So
why do you think young men are lost without many role models and turn to extremes like Andrew Tate? Are you familiar with Andrew Tate? Okay, and then just talk a little bit about the pickup artist type you know, fads out there and why they're.
And you're right, Ray McKinney. The most glaring problem with women like her and others is so-called dating coaches and they know absolutely nothing about men and what men want right. And the OJ's, Ray McKinney, wrote a song back in the day, and the song said, "Got to give the people what they want." You got to give the people what they want. And I thought about writing a book called Black Love Without Consent, because we never consent to ask men what they want in relationships. So that's why I hate it when amateurs, they don't understand how men work and how men are wired. And they call themselves being intelligent, but really they are fools. Because I would destroy the average one in an intellectual debate. I would destroy them. Because they're not looking at things through the lens of what I'm looking at. They're looking at things through pragmatism and practicality instead of looking at things through the four dimensions of the human existence. Men and women are integrated beings: psyche, soma, pneuma, soul, body, and spirit. If one is off kilter, it impacts the whole essence. So I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%, Ray McKinney. Shout out to Ray McKinney for being a new member. I appreciate it, brother.
They're so popular.
Well, I mean, she sort of hit on it. The men don't have any role models. Nobody teaches them anything anymore, and they're basically lost. In fact, I think I saw recently that boys are actually turning to Chat GP to sort of find out about dating because they really don't understand. So if they have no role model, nobody to really talk to them about how to date or do anything. I don't think Andrew Tate's a great example, but I have to turn to someone like Jordan Peterson, who obviously is a psychologist. He understands the psychology of boys and men and what they need and want. And I think that those ideas are not bad things. I also think women underestimate how hard it is. Here's an example. The majority of women, say you go to a dating app, the majority of women find most men undateable. In the past, young men.
Now, once again, the majority of women, and Dr. Helen Smith proves my point, guys. Dr. Helen Smith proves my point. The average man is not getting copious amounts of intimacy. The average man is not on OnlyFans. The average man is invisible. Because if you're 5'8", if you don't have money, and you don't have a Big Johnson, you're invisible. And 33% of men are virgins. So how can April Mason and many like her place all in the sole responsibility on mankind when many men are invisible? There are a lot of invisible men.
Might have been able to find somebody. Most women wanted a husband. Nowadays, women don't need a husband, right? They can, which is good. They can make their own money. They don't need that. But at the same time,
daddy, boyfriends, husbands, cousins,
all right,
brothers, uncles, and
so y'all saw Saucy Santana a minute ago. Let's go look at some of the comments, and then we're gonna get more into Dr. Because he's a He's a plant. The old folks are calling this dude a front. He's a plantation bro. The old folks are calling him a front. But a plantation bro, I don't need no passport. I don't need no passport. Black women in America need our love right here. Rich dad, poor deli. No passport needed. Excuses and expansion pack. I'm going to show y'all some of the comments of some of these women. I'm going to show y'all some of the comments of some of these women from this guy. Because they mad because passport bros are flooding Cartagena. So look at all the lies, guys. This person said it used to be Punta Cana, now and Cartagena. They hate on passport bros. And this other person said, yup, and Rio de Janeiro in the 90s. And don't forget Puerto Plata. They mad. They are mad. Somebody said the white passport bros go to Thailand and the Philippines. And look at the smear campaign of the narcissists. They always have that delusional paranoid mindset, paranoid persecution mindset or scheme, or what I call schema afflictions. A schema affliction. And they be out there messing with little kids, and they're also in Colombia too. Look at what this fool said. Literally moving their trauma parade internationally. Praying for the women of Cartagena. Like men over there are violating those women. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of the men that travel are actually being exploited by the women. The women are being exploited. The men actually are being exploited. Because when the men go there, based on what I've been told, the women come to them. So how can men be exploiting women that come to them? But see, these women have limited travel experience. So they speak out of fear and ignorance instead of speaking out of common sense. This woman said, I pray that they make it back safely. She was looking from a kind perspective. A lot of guys have been getting set up and unalive out there. This fool said that's a good thing. This 304 named Jay said that's a good thing that men are getting killed. That's how they think about y'all black men. Because they so easy, that's a shame. But yet they're so easy when they come down and go into Dubai and giving that box of thugs and bad boys. A lot of people get unalive going down there, but it depends on how they behave and what street they go into. What are they looking for? This person said, find a man that jokes about femicide overseas. Exactly. But they're so concerned about what men are doing, they don't even want the men. Why do you care? But see, narcissists got to have a supply. American women, a large portion of them have narcissistic rage. They're not bona fide narcissists, but they have narcissistic traits. This woman said her boyfriend went on a business trip to Cartagena. He couldn't call me at night because the hotel phones didn't work. After the third night, I called the hotel. She said nothing's wrong. He came back to an empty apartment. This person's passport brother said that Maria and Ling Ling are on the top of dating hierarchy. They are the only races of women who have men flying in masses to be with them. Either one gets it, it's a wrap. Shout out to a man, Sir Tice. When he said Plantation Bros is apropos. Laugh out loud. Salute, Kosher. No doubt, Sir Tice. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's not best to talk, Gregor Scott. It's definitely not best to talk. They don't want men to be liberated. You don't want them, so why do you care what they do with their phallus? They're incels, they are lames, they are broke, they got small Johnsons. So why do you complain about men that you don't like? Well, it's simple. You don't want them, but you want the attention for free. You want the free attention that men give to these other women. Look at what this woman said, but don't want to buy dinner here. Why would they buy dinner here when you can get dinner for $5 and get beautiful women that are superior to you? This woman said, girl, that $5 will stretch 20 more times over there. This person say, but that's a shame. 304s here, they shame 304s here, but gladly paid their last $20 for cat overseas. They are upset because they can't afford 304s here. They say y'all can't afford 304s over here. Crack me. They Delulu, man. They are Delulu. Boss lady, 2 up and 2 down said because they are the real 304s. By the time they play for a flight, hotel, they could have gave that money. They could have gave her money, here the money. The math ain't math. And man, they're not going to give that money to women that got weave, overweight, bad attitude. Children, not children, but children by other men. You know, why would they get with the Queen Starter Pack, the Miss Independent Starter Pack, when they can just travel abroad? Why would they deal with that bad behavior when they can just travel abroad? You know, why would they deal with American women that say, I'm strong and independent, independent, strong and solo, I'm the table. Just heal, sis. A boss babe. All that masculine is a boss babe. They say they single by choice, delusional again. I'm the table and vision boards that's gonna never come into fruition. So black men are saying, you know what, I just rather go, if I'm gonna get exploited for my money, I'd rather just get my money to mangoes overseas. Because at least if they like me or don't like me, they're gonna put on the show. At least they're gonna put on the show. At least I ain't gotta pay $600 before I get some cat. So I don't blame those single men. It might be morally wrong because they're fornicating, but that's between them and God. Look at them knocking down. They're doing stuff over there that they wouldn't do here with folks they couldn't do it with. They're Timu Shannon Sharps. I mean, the hate is unreal. This person said people are worried about DLs when y'all should be worried about these passport bros. Look at this delusional heifer. They're not going for the adult women either. This crazy. They're crazy. I just comment on that. My coworker went 2 months ago and told me about the undergirls. I don't even know what that is. This helper said, baby, me and my sister just came back from Cartagena. When I tell you our flappers were gasted, we had to explain passport bros to our Uber drivers. They down there trying to throw shade on black men. That's how wicked they are, and they want to take your joy and your freedom away because they're so narcissistic. They're so narcissistic. This woman said, yep, Cartagena, Melly, I've been both, and the amount of passport there is insane. Somebody said, what's the point of stalking men on vacation? That's how miserable they are. Because when they go to Colombia or Latin countries, they're invisible. They are invisible in those countries. They're nobodies. They're invisible. And like somebody said, they can't go on vacation. Look at you policing decent people. Look at what this woman named Joe said. Child, that ain't nothing new. My Dominican ex took one trip to Cartagena in 2016, 7-year relationship. Came back, packed my bags. You ain't touching me. Bye. He don't have to touch you, ma'am. He don't have to touch you because the women over there are superior. I've heard stories of men that were in relationships and they left their wives back in America and moved over to Brazil. So they don't have to touch you because a lot of American women, they are inferior to foreign women when they come down to beauty and femininity. And they know they're inferior. They're inferior. They can't touch those foreign women from Africa, China, and Latin countries. Look at this passport incel, this digital incel. Now, no, it's so bad that locals make fun of them. I made friends with locals in Cartagena, and they all make fun of passport bros. And listen, guys, we got some dusty guys that travel. Every man that travels is not a passport bro. Let me say it again. Every man that travels is not a passport bro. Some men go for the fun. Some men go for wives. Some men go just to see the country. She said they're going to try to shame black men. They're going to find women in their tax bracket. And black men are just laughing at them, enjoying their lives, not bothering nobody. Not bothering nobody. This person said a guy was being so rude to me, telling me how much better the women in Panama are. The more he spoke, the more I realized he meant cheaper. Just exploited people honestly. and there was a woman by the name of Latriva, the journalist of Latriva. She even said that expats in foreign countries have more buying power because the dollar is stronger and the women treat them better. Women that travel to foreign countries, women that are say 8s or 9s in America, they're 4s or 5s when they travel abroad. No decent man talks about other women on the presence of a woman he's pursuing. That alone is a red flag. He has no clue how respectable men should be treated. Look at all the hate, guys. Look at all the hate. It's funny to me. It is so funny. It is so funny to me, guys. It's so funny. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm. He said American black women refuse to compete overseas. That's why they don't last long and came back to the U.S. Foreign men aren't checking for them wide backs. Right. Yeah, foreign men ain't checking for them big backs, man. You remember a quiet song back in the day? New Edition said never trust a big butt in a smile. Well, you never trust a big back in a smile. Never trust a big back in a smile. You never trust a big back. You never trust a big back in a smile. Quiet Storm said the last time I went to Brazil, I was at Copacabana Beach and saw two big doves walk by. I heard one of them say flat out, "We got to get our ish together." I know you know this. Yes, sir, I know it, man. Yes, they are invisible overseas because you know what? Let me show y'all something. I want to show y'all Helen Smith. I'm gonna show y'all something, man. Hold on for a minute, because I actually interviewed some women abroad. Let me show you a little bit of Helen Smith. I'm gonna show y'all something. They're my industry. Hold tight.
It's where I wrote a book, Manning Up, or they'd be like, save the males, like save the whales or something. And to be talking about how men were they were these Peter Pan, they were under arrested development. This is why they didn't want to man up and go out with women and marry them and do all the things they were supposed to do. But the men I actually talked to, and I'm not, people say, I talk directly to men. And that's what the sort of new thing about Men on Strike was so many books look and they try to analyze the author's view. And I think what's so interesting is as a psychologist, I think you have to ask men what they think. So when I say to men, like, what's your view? They'd say, well, why should I get married? If I get married, the woman is going to expect me to keep the house. If I don't do the type of work she likes, she's going to get angry. But men, believe it or not, men are still expected. American society hasn't changed, and they have in terms of women, but in terms of men, our society expects. Pew Research did a study, and they found that currently 72% of Americans think that to be a good husband or partner, you must provide the majority of the breadwinning in the house. And they only feel this way about 32% of the women. They even need to provide anything. So men are expected to provide the resources and to participate fully in the children and the home. And if the 50% chance that their marriage will break up.
Now think about that, guys. Look at all the responsibility they expect and put on you as a man. And they wonder why men don't want to get married.
They then are left to foot the bill for whatever alimony, which again, alimony is a little antiquated, but there's still the child support. And I think that men feel like this is a really raw deal, right? The kids are not seen as the man's, they're kind of seen as the woman's today.
Shout out to my man, brother Darius Norman, for that $10 super chat. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the cash out. D Norman for that $10 cash out. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Years ago, the children were more seen as the man's, which you would say isn't fair, but is it any more fair that today we have coverture being that term that means that men used to hold the cards in marriage, but now women hold that coverture. And I think men just feel that it's a really bad situation, and why would they invest in that,
and so,
especially legally?
What's happening is that men are still being held to traditional norms while women are allowed to be modern. Men are still being held to traditional norms while women are allowed to be modern. Men are saying that's a bad deal, therefore we're checking out. I get better respect overseas. The women love us better overseas. I'm going to prove it to you. Let me tell you guys something. One of the perks of me being a therapist is that I can travel. I can be a travel therapist. And shout out to Miss Tolson. See, you can travel abroad and write certain things off. And so you can travel and also do the YouTube business and write things off. But also travel therapy. So there are times where I take trips. And I sometimes meet up with other content creators as well. And a lot of men are checking out because of behaviors like this.
And the thing I find interesting is I think the younger guys are starting to pick up on this and understand this a lot more. The other thing men are doing, when I wrote my book, they were talking about someday men would only be 40% of college students. Well, today they are. When I wrote my book, it was somewhere around, I think it was 45, 55, something like that in early, mid 2010 or so. But now we see 60% women going to college, 40% men. So fewer and fewer men are going to college. I don't know that they're going on strike as much as they're finding other avenues. You might say they're going adult and they're saying, you know what? I even have family members, they look at this and they're like, a lot of guys don't want to go to school to college because they see it as, they almost see it as a girl. It's almost like as a.
And that proved our point a while ago. It's not only are black men not going to college, white men are not going to college because the environments are very hostile to men. I've experienced, and I'm sure some of you men have experienced it too.
A very feminized place that doesn't want them. It's a hostile work environment for them. And I think a lot of them are turning to the trades. I have one family member going into welding, who's 20. He decided not to go to college. I talk to men all the time who are going into other sorts of fields. A lot of men try to go into engineering or some field. I even have men that I've been interviewing recently who told me that they're not really going golf, but they look into their jobs. One guy works at a hospital and he's like, okay, I'm going to go try just to work with men because I'm so afraid that and then with a group of women, they might accuse me of something or, I'll just be seen as this bad guy. And so I think men are finding their own way, whether that you want to call it going golf or just a different lifestyle that takes them out of the mainstream of what people expect of them.
All right, I'm going to dip into some of these questions that we're getting over the transom here, though I still have a lot of questions of my own. On Facebook, Zachary Wren asks, are there any common trends in childhood development when there's only one parent versus two? I think maybe this could go back to
men that start apart. Yes, I think what we see now is that most kids, particularly boys, grow up without a father. And there's an excellent book called The Boy Crisis, which is written by Warren Farrell. It's a great book looking at what happens when you just have, a mom in the house and there's no dad. And I think particularly what we're seeing with boys, and that may be the trend of what's happening today, boys go through their whole childhood now, and their development is such that boys, we don't realize, are much more.
How many of you men are going galt? Meaning you just checking out. A lot of men are going galt. If I was a single man, I would go galt too. I got a good show tomorrow with Peaceful Life, but a lot of men are going galt.
Sensitive to girls about their surroundings, and they do worse in school when families are broken up. If they don't have a dad in the home, they tend to turn to more criminal activities. I think, and I'm not saying kids, but that they can be perfectly fine. I mean that.
So Dr. Helen Smith is proving why men are checking out. I'm gonna drop this real quick. I'm gonna show you guys something, and it's gonna prove my point of why passport bros are so powerful. Now look at what the foreign women. I interviewed some foreign women when I was in Dominican Republic. I was in Puerto Plata, but not Puerto Plata. I was in Punta Cana, and I got my training as a Gottman trained therapist. I got my training with the Gottman Institute. I'm going to show you guys something. But I got to find it first. Where's that video at? No, actually, it's alive. It's actually alive. Let me show you guys something. And I'm going to prove to y'all why black men got power overseas. Hold tight.
The psyche of a man if he decides to get married. Faith, female psychology, finances, male mental health, male physical health.
No, this is not it.
And also,
that's not it. Let me find it. I got the wrong one. I got the wrong one. All right, which one is it? Here you go. So I interviewed guys. I interviewed some Dominicans when I was in Puerto Plata. I mean, not Puerto Plata, but the title of the show is "Why Are Single Men Avoiding Dating and Relationships?" And I was in for my training. I was in Punta Cana. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this real quick. I am here guys at a very nice resort, and more or less see men and guys as the arbiters of that located in duality, as you guys can see. My nice little spot, very nice place, very expensive too. But the partnership is predicated in duality, and it's predicated in power, equal power to share it between both. That are trying to fight for. Now I was in Punta Cana here, guys. Fight for a lot of the things. I'm not gonna show all of it because it's a lot. But many times they don't get it, or neither. But I was in Punta Cana. But hold tight. They don't get it, guys, and neither do they have it. And so, if you're a single man, if you're not dating, or if you're contemplating dating, you will be better served, guys, to explore your options in foreign countries with the understanding that it's not perfect, but you got a better chance. So once again, I decided to come and take this class on couples therapy under what's called the Gottman method. And while the Gottman method is research verified, it's a very good training, it's also very woke. The Gottman method, guys, is also the
definitely and exponentially better. Not perfect, by no means, but your chances are exponentially better here when you travel abroad. So therefore, guys, I think it's important that you single men know what your worth is, because don't have any friends if you're a traditional black man that believe in conservative views. You'll be down waiting a long time, because a lot of these chicks are going to school to become men or Paquito Leo. Oh, wow.
All right, so I interviewed guys, a Dominican, and y'all form your own opinion. Hold on.
Hola, amiga. Yeah, me Americano, me talking to Americanos right now. Me talking to Americanos. What is so I'm me Americano on YouTube. And so what's your name?
Wanda.
So Wanda. So can I ask you a question, Wanda? Can I ask you a question? So the Dominican men, are Dominican men Leo? Dominican men Leo loyal? Or not?
Y'all heard what she said. She said Dominican men are not Leo. Leo means loyal. You heard what she said? She said Dominican men are not loyal. See, American men have been trained to treat women special. And we give more power than is given to us here in America. Now listen to what she said. Hold tight.
Hold on. So Dominican men are Paquito Leo.
Sí.
Oh, wow. So are they romantical?
No lo que me está diciendo, sí.
No.
Nah,
Dominican men are not.
Did you hear what she said? She said Dominican men are not loyal. Neither are they romantic. But American men are trained to be simps to subpar women. They're trained to be simps to subpar women. Women that don't show them love. Women that tell them they got to pay $200 to take them out to dinner. So when you travel abroad, guys, you feel like a man, because average people get average people in foreign countries, but their average is actually above average to superior in America. Average women over there are superior, above average or superior in America.
Romantical, amiga. So I'm Americano. I'm Americano doctor, mind doctor, right?
Houston, Texas.
Doctor. See. And so are Dominican men? Dominican, are they loyal? Paquito or muy grande?
Tú.
No, Dominican hermanos. Dominican chicos. Are they Leo?
No good. Me gusta americano. I like you, americano.
Oh, so you like Americanos?
Sí, me gusta.
See, hold on, guys.
Listen to what she said, guys. She said me gusta. She said she like Americanos. She said me gusto. She like Americanos. See, when you travel abroad, man, you are the prize. Now, if you eat right, lift weights, and work out, you are the prize abroad. Can you get exploited? Yes, you can get exploited. You can get exploited anywhere. But you're definitely getting exploited here in America. Now, I didn't say it. She said it. She said, me gusto. They like American men.
Hold up. You heard this beautiful Dominican woman say.
Grandote así, fuerte.
She said fuerte.
She called me guys fuerte. I told you. You're muy poquito. See.
Tú, no, está bien. Very good.
I told you.
Yes.
So Dominicanos like Americanos? Dominicanos like American.
Yo soy dominicana.
See, right. So why Americanos? Americanos romantico?
Sí.
Sí.
Muy romántico.
Romantico, Leo. Americanos, Leo.
Lioso.
Right, loyal. Americanos.
Yes.
Loyal. See, right. And so Americanos treat Dominican women great. Grande. Right?
Más o menos.
What's your name?
Patricia.
That's a pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Patricia.
All right. Are you Patricia? Where are you from?
New Jersey.
Oh, from New Jersey. Okay. How you enjoying the trip?
Like it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a therapist. I'm just actually videoing and talking to some of the guys abroad and talking about culture and whatnot. So you enjoying the trip? That's right. I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I always call it the greatest state in the union. The Tar Heel State. I'm from North Carolina. Pleasure to meet you, Patricia.
You too.
Thank you, dear. All right. So you guys, y'all saw it for yourself. Y'all think the kosher man be lying to y'all. Y'all think the kosher man be lying. This is just random interviews, guys. This is just random interviews. These are just random interviews. That's why I keep telling you, man. Listen, you will be a damn fool to waste your time in the West dealing with big backs, bad attitude, not children, but children by multiple men, and don't have a damn ounce of femininity. Listen, the woman told me, I was just walking, she said, you mucho alto and you're forte. So a lot of them think I'm a basketball player because I'm 6'6", but 6'6" with shoes on. And that's why I advocate so hard for the team.
Hey, Quiet Storm, 6'6" with shoes on, man. 6'6" with shoes on, Quiet Storm. 6'6" with shoes on, man. 6'6" with shoes on.
Of black men. And we know there's some men that travel, that still men that travel for Kamala Harris. But I'm gonna try to work with you. We gotta do a simp intervention plan for some of you brothers. But you saw it firsthand for yourselves. I was just randomly walking, guys. And the chica said that she said Americanos treat them better. And she said that Dominican men are poquito. They don't treat them good, man. Just like American men, women don't treat y'all good. Your good is never good enough. They're not loyal to you, they're loyal to themselves. And that's why they get mad at me and unsubscribe, which I personally don't care, because I'm gonna tell the truth. And we know that there's a percentage of good women, but the good women in America are like the good men in the Dominican Republic. It ain't many of them. It ain't many of them. Let's see. Kenny people say and doing matchmaking on here. How long? Oh yeah, Kenny, I'm gonna be here, Kenny, for probably about 8 more days, man. I'm doing the training for marriage and couples. It's called the Gottman Method, and I'm doing the training here for a while. And then after the training, Kenny, I might go fly out to another location. Just to get away, man. You know, I work hard, so I'm gonna play hard. And so I'm doing this show.
Now they got simps in DR too. I want y'all listen. They got some Dominican simps too. Hold on.
Look, man, I'm talking to my amigos back home. I'm a YouTuber. You YouTube? Yeah. What's your name, amigo? Benelli. See, so in Dominicano, right?
Yeah.
Men masculino or men
masculino?
So what does masculino mean in Dominican?
Masculino, hombre.
So it means the men are the leaders, the fathers, the padres in the family. The women follow you. You don't follow women in this culture.
No, you follow the woman. The woman is the boss. Yeah.
Right. So
he was a Dominican simp. You see the West is influencing Dominican men.
So are Dominican women loyal?
Woman is the boss.
Here?
Yeah, in Dominican.
I thought the men were the boss.
No, men no.
You're not
nothing here.
Really?
No.
So you're not the boss?
My wife know everything.
Oh, your wife?
But that ain't true. He's random, but that's not true. In his home, maybe it's the case, but that's not true for Dominican men.
Boss you?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you to a simp intervention plan, man. You can't be like that.
I told my to put him a simp intervention plan.
I'm gonna say, I'm the man, and when the wife comes,
so why you let your wife boss you?
It's the creature. It's
like but in general, Dominican men run their families. That's what I'm saying. Maybe not you.
No, woman.
So you're saying the women here?
Yeah, like 95%.
They tell the men what to do?
No. They say about whatever she wanna do, she do, because in the house she's the.
Well, yeah, in the house, right? Mukasa, right?
Yeah,
but you're the king though in your casa.
No, you're not king. You're not king.
So are you the king in your casa? So you're a simp, huh? Man, we got some simps in the DR too. Your wife, come on, man. Your wife be ruling you, man? Why you let your wife rule you?
No. She's the queen.
Wait, but who, is she the queen? Who's the king?
I don't know, my man. I'm the dog into the house.
So are you the king in your house?
No.
So she's the king and the queen.
The king.
And the queen.
I can call her.
Mom, who's the king?
Man, listen. He needs some Mama Wanda, guys. I bought me some Mama Wanda last night.
Yeah.
You need to drink some Mama Wanda, man, so you can be the king.
No. You drink Mama Wanda to do a good job. Not because you king, because you do job
okay.
for her.
Oh, okay. Got you.
She tell you work for mine.
Oh, great. Right. Thank you, amigos.
Yeah.
Thank you, amigos. All right. Yeah, man. Damn, they got damn simp all over in DR. Man, I'm going to do a damn simp intervention with some of these dudes, man. They'll have me in the damn DR simping, man. But see, and listen, I don't know if it's just them. That's just a small sample, guys. But I don't think that. But so let's say it's really hard, guys, from this simp assessment that I did a minute ago. I call it a simp assessment. So it's really hard, guys, to say, are they saying that woman is the boss in the house, but she allows, but they have power? That's what the question is. So amigos. So listen, I'm gonna interview this young lady. She's from Haiti, very nice person. And but yeah, that's the question, guys. Are they saying that their wife is the boss? Are they saying that their wives, guys, is the boss? Meaning she's the boss of the house, meaning she runs the house, which I don't have a problem with, and he's the leader. Or are they saying that she's the queen and the king? And so if that's the case, guys, we're gonna have to get these damn Dominicans. We're gonna have to give them a damn simp intervention plan. They must have some more. right. Yeah, so see, they need some damn more drink, man. They out there. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. But I don't. But that's just them, man. But maybe simping is becoming an epidemic, man. But I got another interview for you because you heard what the women said totally different. They said Dominican men are not good men. So it just depends on who you ask. You can't go from a small sample size, guys, and make a determination from a small sample size. A small sample size is not going to tell the story. That was just a small sample size. So you can't go from a small sample size. But we know that simping is worldwide. Adam was the first simp. Adam was the first simp. And it's hard, guys, standing on businesses. Well, it's not hard. You just got to be a man enough to do it. But that's what happened, guys, in a lot of relationships. But I'm not going to say 100% that Dominican men are like this. Maybe they were just joking and having fun. Maybe he was just simping out when he said his wife was the boss. But I don't go on in my house. I'm the leader of my home. And me being the leader don't mean that my woman don't have a voice. She got a voice. But I'm the leader. And that's the way it's going to be. And that's the way it should be. And it's not a burden for me to be a leader, That's part of my God-given design is to lead and support my family and kids. But the role of being a man is hard. It's not an easy job. It's a very hard road. I'm sadly trying to. Hey,
guys, I met a Haitian young lady. She's going to explain that to you single men that don't have wives. Y'all might want to consider Haitian women.
It's a very hard job. I'm trying to be. Hey, I'm Cardi B. Hey, amiga. I'm talking to me amigos in America, right? Yeah. Amiga, so say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
So Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer, right? So Dominican men loyal or Dominican men así or menos? Huh?
It's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But you're good. Not you. I know you got a good. You're good. You got a good man. But I'm saying overall.
No, it's good.
Is it Piquito? Like Leo? Piquito. See. God, this is Cardi B. Say hi to Cardi B.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hold on for a minute. So yeah, guys, y'all see me putting in work, man. The coach man putting in work. Shout out to my man. I can't. My eyes are horrible, guys. I can't see. I can't read that, brother, but I'm gonna read it in a minute. But I'm doing this, guys, having a little fun. And you hear different things, guys, from different people. Let me see if I can read this under the light, because I can't see it. When the light is bad, I can barely see. He said, it is Mali, okay, in the Dominican Republic. This is just.
All right, so
Chica, guys, she's from Haiti.
So this is what she said. She's from Haiti. Listen to what this Haitian sister said, because it's different than Haiti. Listen to what she said. Listen.
Muy inteligente, Spanish, because Americanos are looking for Haitian women and Latin women, mi amigos. They're looking for esposos, and so Haitian women are intelligente. They speak English, they speak French. So you speak good English or no?
I'm trying to
Right.
speak good English because I'm not native English.
Right.
Just learning English from
So
here.
let me ask you a question. For single men back in America, why are Haitian women or Latin women a good option for wives, in your opinion? You know, because I got Americanos that are looking for it. They might be looking for you. so why are Latin women
We
a
are
good?
good at cooking.
Right.
We are good in sex. We are good.
Y'all heard what she said? She said Team Haitian, they're good at cooking, and they're good in the bedroom. Good at cooking and good in the bedroom. For you single men.
Come back. Y'all heard what she said? She's Haitian, man. Go ahead. And Haitian women are very forte, strong, very forte. Yeah.
We're hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
Good in cook. Good in sex. Caring people.
Right.
Loving.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Let me ask you a question. In Haiti, do the women lead or do the men lead in Haiti? Who are the leaders in your homes?
The man.
The men lead.
Listen to what she said.
So in Haiti, it's patriarchal. The men are the leaders and the
The
women follow.
man is the boss.
In Haiti.
Listen to what she said. The men are the leaders in their homes, especially in Haitian homes, and it's true for Dominican men too. But those were some Dominican simps. But listen to what she said.
In Haiti.
How about
But now everything changed because women work too. Men works and women works. But we just share our money. It's not woman happy wife, happy life.
Oh, hell no. We don't do no happy wife, happy life. Americanos, no, I believe in happy us, happy life. You know, happy us, happy life.
You see, guys, how Western influence has infiltrated even countries abroad. She said happy wife, happy life. But I had to correct that. I said happy us, happy life. Listen.
Meaning you happy, be happy.
Yes.
Happy wife, happy life is American. It's American. Mm-hmm. That's why Americans don't get married. But happy us, happy life. Exactly. You happy, he happy. Now, because you work and your husband work, or men work, you still respect your man as the leader. Say it one more time. So just because you guys work, who's still the leader in the home?
The man.
Did y'all hear that, guys? This young lady.
Now, see, in America, women think because they work and the man work, they want a partner. They say partner. I want a partner. I want a partner. They want a partner. Partner. I want a partner. My partner. Because domestic duties to them is slavery. That's why if you're a traditional man, you'll be a fool to marry the average American woman. Get you a foreign wife, man. And if you can, move to the country where she's living in and keep her in her country so that she don't become contaminated.
He said, one of my friends said, you're very attractive. He said that you're very attractive. And so she said, just because the men work and the women work, she said the man is still the leader in the home. Do you see my point? So Americanos are looking for chicas from Haiti, from Dominican Republic, my hermanos, my brothers that are single. They looking for wives. So I might have to get some information and tell single chicas.
Bring them here in Dominican just to see.
Yes, right. Bring them here, right. So what kind of American do you like if you had to get an American esposo? Yeah, American husband.
I don't have choice. I can be black, I can be white. I don't have.
Oh, so you don't care about color?
No, I don't.
But about personality, temperamental.
Personality, loving people, caring people, hardworking, and respect the woman.
Yes, see, respect, right.
And that's it.
So do Haitian men treat their women good?
Some men yes, some men no.
Would you say more, or would you say mano meso, or would you say so you have more that treat women good, or less that treat
less?
Wow. So do the men here leave their family, get women pregnant, and then run?
After they run, yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, they do.
Why? Okay.
I don't know.
Does that hurt?
No, at the beginning they treat you well, but after you get pregnant, you get the baby, and they're looking for another person without baby, and they do the same thing.
See, men in foreign country guys, they are very masculine. Foreign men are very masculine, and they don't play.
With the person
right.
And after they work.
Right. So is that a Haitian man thing, or is it
Haitian man? It's a Caribbean man that.
Oh, so Caribbean men do it too. So Dominican and Haitian, they get women.
So that was just a little snapshot. I'm not gonna play all of it, guys. This is when I was in. This is when I was in Punta Cana. I was there for a training. Guys, in Dominican Republic. So we're about 3 hours in. I'm gonna end this, guys. I just wanted the more let's talk about Dr. Helen Smith. I'll play a little bit more of her and then we're gonna end it. But thank you to everyone that tuned in. Shout out to the #1 sponsor, Ray Johnson, Bashur, and Gregory Scotland. Thank you. And Dr. Helen Smith once again exposed why men are becoming passport bros. Hold tight.
That's the majority of kids. But I do think boys do suffer, they found, even more greatly than girls, and in different ways. I think boys don't understand boundaries as well as they used to. And that may be why we see more and more boys acting out in certain ways, because a father teaches boundaries. And we have all this research. People want to look at it, the social science research, and say, oh, well, women could do just as good a job alone. But I think having two parents, even if it's two same-sex parents, that still is a good thing. I think a child with two loving parents, I think that's always going to be a bit more positive.
I have a couple of questions here about the juvenile court system, which you've worked in, juvenile justice. If you had to name 1, 2, or 3 top reforms, how would you like to see the juvenile justice system changed, both to help prevent this from happening, but also to protect the public?
I think that goes back to a mental health and not necessarily juvenile justice. What's happening is all the kids that I would see in court had mental health issues, severe ones, where they should have been in a mental facility or get, some type of treatment, and that treatment isn't provided anymore. So now there are juvenile facilities are simply holding cells for children. And a lot of times these kids, and, as a libertarian, you could probably really appreciate that a lot of times these kids didn't commit a crime. They're being locked up because they ran away from a bad home life, or they were mentally ill, or, and so the juvenile system, I would like to see, the biggest reform would be to reform the mental health system. When I was young, when I was 18, I worked at Lakeshore, which was a mental health institute here in Tennessee. It was a huge institute. All of the institutes around the country have been closed down, and we don't have any community support. So I would like to see more community support for juveniles. I also would like to see more consequences. I've worked with kids who have committed very heinous crimes. One boy I had, I evaluated him, he was 12 years old, and he had murdered someone. This was in Nashville. And the thing is he had some lower level crimes from 8 on, and there were no consequences. The juvenile system simply took him, said he's 8, and returned him home. No consequences, nothing. So the boy would escalate to, slashing tires, to stealing cars, to finally murdering someone. And by the time I saw him, he didn't understand. He didn't even understand anything, that he didn't understand why he was even in jail. So I think that we need to focus more on prevention at younger and younger ages, and to maybe enforce more consequences and not just turn kids loose without anything.
Candice Morena on Facebook asks, family court appears to have a strong bias against men. Do you think this is true? Is there a way to fix this?
Yes, I absolutely think this is true. All the men I talked to, they a lot of them do.
All right, guys.
I talk to fathers all the time who they're getting divorced.
All right, guys, I'm gonna stop it here because this is long. I've been on this stream for 3 hours. I gotta get off. But guys, go ahead on subscribe. I need everyone from Instagram to subscribe to the channel. If you're not a member, become a member. Thank you for everyone that showed love on today. Guys, go and hit the like button for the show tomorrow. Called They're Insufferable. Hit the like button for the show on tomorrow, guys, please. Go click on the link right now and click on the show on the like. Go click on the hit the like button for the show tomorrow. I think everybody that's watching to hit the like button for the show tomorrow and they'll get into the algorithm. And it'll tell YouTube to push the show. We got a great show tomorrow on Gen X. And we're going to talk about some of the shenanigans of Gen X. And trying to have peaceful life back. Hopefully nothing will happen. But I'm going to get off the stream, guys, to go relax. Go enjoy the rest of my Sunday, Saturday. I need to relax more. So I was cutting these streams about 2 hours, man. Or hour at most. I'll be on these streams too long. These 3 hour streams are just too long. But go click on the link. Go hit the like button for tomorrow. And in the meantime, thank you to everyone that donated on today. Once again, shout out to Ray Johnson. He was one of the #1 sponsors. And shout out to my man, D. Norman. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm. Lady Bashir again. Sir Gregory Scotland again. Shout out to Ray McKinney. Shout out to Sir Tice. And shout out to International Quiet Storm again. All three were the #1 sponsors of the stream. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for everybody to show love on the day. Go hit the like button. Once again, hit the like button for the show tomorrow. I need everybody to go hit that like button. Click on the link that I sent you guys for the show tomorrow. Everybody hit the like button. I need everybody to hit that like button. And we're going to have a good show on tomorrow. We're going to have a good show on tomorrow talking about Gen X women and the downfall of Gen X women. So thank you to everybody that tuned in. This was a good one. And guys, I will be seeing you brothers and sisters soon. Thank you for everybody that tuned in, guys. And we're going to sign off.
When you date a woman and she may be a potential wife, it's a competition thing all the way. I can't take it no more.
They feel propped up because they feel more beholden to the government. And then their man comes second. That's why they figure that they're strong, independent, don't need no man because they have the government.
Because the men are failing us, to be honest. Guys thinking about themselves and they'll think about you after you react.
You don't hear anything about being good wives and all the other stuff. What you hear is you strong and you independent. You can do it on your own. You got black girl magic, black girl rock, but you ain't said nothing about black family.
My mother is like what they consider to be the strong black woman. I feel like I projected that onto the guys that I dated.
Ladies have no idea how stiff their competition really is. You have no clue how black men are viewed in the rest of the world. We are the #1 most sexually desired man on the face of this planet.
They would call Jesus Dusty if he was here living in America because of the gross narcissism that a lot of our women have.
Where my friends go,
was simple. When the end's low, switch the tempo. I go right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, then I strike. I go hard day and night, yeah. I go hard day and night. 1-to-1, no surprise. See the hate in their eyes. My brother's blood money bleed. I got the game in the squeeze. What would you do for some green? What would you do for some blues? Go pick and choose the fam of the cheese. Some people not built like that. Some people get killed like that. Pressure like water, lights, mortgage. I've been at bills like that. Now I got kids like that. No wonder why I feel like that. Some people go to war for nothing. Me, I go to war for something.
Before there was the manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was.
When the end's low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike. I go hard day and night. Money on the line, keep calling. Money on the books, ain't all that. My kids, they'll be ballin'. Got a real bankroll, not for Instagram. My mama on the line, keep calling. Praying for me, know I need all that. Told me it's not about ballin'. Real blessed, but I'm still sinning, man. What would you do for a win? What would you do for your friends? What if this life is a foe? What if it all was pretend? What if you rode to the end? What if you started again?
The kosher clinician.